We want to make sure that this branding is going to last you 10 to 15 years. And the hope is that in 10 to 15 years from now, your business is so much bigger that you're at a place where the rebranding is going to be appropriate anyway, because you're serving a different audience in a different capacity, or you have a big team, or you have bigger impact. And therefore, we're setting the expectation from the get-go that this is an investment that has a lifespan, because branding is not supposed to be infinite. Even the biggest companies you've ever known go through rebrands. So making sure that that's part of the conversation really, really early, like this is the 2-minute mark of our conversation, is super, super important on a discovery call. Greetings and welcome back to the Kiss My Aesthetic podcast. Today's solo episode should be very helpful to you. I feel like this is the kind of episode I wish would have existed when I had started my business, which is how I run a discovery call. It is wild to me that some of you guys are out here running your businesses without having discovery calls. And I think I learned so much in my early years actually from watching my mom conduct her discovery calls, and then now also my sister conduct her discovery calls as a wedding planner. So today I'm going back in the archives. I went back into the Google Drive and I dug up 4 discovery calls from clients that actually signed on with us for projects. And I want to actually play for you the discovery call itself. So in this, I have some chunks from projects that you may have seen on our socials that you might have seen me share about. And really, it's kind of this rewind, this time travel back to before their project even started, so you can understand the kind of questions that I asked and how I position their project to best benefit them, and really explain how our services are going to help transform their business. Discovery calls for us happen after someone has submitted a contact form. So really that's the first step, is if they're interested, they send a DM, a text, a referral, an email, hey, I want to work with you. We're sending them to the contact form. That contact form, just for context in all of this, then goes to our Dubsado account. The Dubsado is our CRM tool that we use, and that tracks all the projects. Once they've submitted the form, they get invited to book a 15-minute discovery call with me. And that's where we're going to talk about all the details of their projects and really get into what they're looking for, how we can help, our services, whether we're a good fit or not. And that will help us decide whether or not we're sending a proposal. So this is a really, really, really crucial step, and I think really sets the tone for the working relationship. And that's why I wanted to share this with all of you today. So without further ado, we're going to get into the episode. I'm going to give a little bit of commentary, play for you a clip of the actual discovery call, and then recap some of the things that I did. And I think the way that you can implement this in your own process. I have this for 4 different discovery calls from past clients. So we're going to be kind of in and out of my commentary. And then at the end, I'll recap for you kind of those high level points you should hit on that discovery call, on that sales call, to really convert that client into a paying client. So without further ado, the first discovery call I want to take you to is Kim Augustus. She is the owner, founder of Bloom RDH, which is a dental education business. And I'm going to play for you the first 4 minutes of that call. Give me the rundown of where you're at, what you're looking for. Of course, I have your contact form, but it's always good to hear it first person. And then I can explain how my team and I work, and we can take it from there.
Yes. So I kind of have my own little coaching, mentoring business, and it's just a side gig. Like, it's not my main role. I just do it for fun. I really enjoy it. I love everything that you've done with Dental Hygiene Nation, and Caitlin's amazing. And she raves about you. And then I don't know. I look at my stuff and I'm like, I hate my colors. I came out with a new grad survival guide, and spent way too much time thinking about how much I hate the cover, and I don't know if I should change it. So I'm just kind of lost, and even if this is like a long-term goal of mine or something like that, I'm just curious to learn more about what you do.
So I'm going to stop it right there, 53 seconds in. This to me is a perfect discovery call, because first and foremost, I always like to let the client talk first. And the reason I like to let the client talk first is because I have some very real green flags and red flags I'm looking for on their first few sentences. The first is, do they know what they want? You'd be surprised how many discovery calls I get on where people don't understand branding or don't understand what they're actually looking for. And so then they're getting kind of like confused about what the heck they're coming to my team for. And I want to make sure that the client that we're talking to either has spent a lot of time around my brand, has a direct project that they're referencing. So in Kim's case, she's seen what we've done with Dental Hygiene Nation. She's a friend of Caitlin. She comes highly referred. Those are all green flags. I'm also trying to suss out where their pain points are. So I love that in Kim, in the first few sentences of talking to her, she's described that she's confused, she's tired, she's lost, she's DIY'd it up till this point. She's just kind of stuck and she doesn't know how to move forward. And she really feels like branding is where she could use that extra level of finesse. And then I love that she ended the end of her first little blip of conversation. I'm really just looking for more information on what you do. So that's prompting me immediately to get into what our signature service is. So we're going to listen to that part next. Yeah, definitely. So our bread and butter is definitely branding, brand design. That's what we do best. We are working with most companies now that are in a rebrand phase anyway. So they had something, they grew their audience, and exactly like you're describing. It's like, I've been DIYing this and I know that it could be better and I want it to look better and I want to look more legit. And I don't want to spend the mental energy, the mental calories
Yes.
trying to figure out what this is supposed to look like. So you might have noticed I did something really, really important right off the jump. Is I said, you're in the right place. Branding is our bread and butter. If you're on our Instagram or our TikTok, you know that bread and butter is kind of become our theme of our logo and our pinned posts. So I'm connecting that on the call with what they're going to see on our website, on social media, etc. And then I'm explaining to her how we've solved this problem for people in a similar place to you. We worked with people that are in a rebranding phase. We definitely have heard this before of I've DIY'd it, I'm stuck, I don't know where to go. And by immediately acknowledging her pain point and positioning ourselves as a solution to her pain point, is setting up the rest of the call to be really, really a slam dunk. So that being said, we kind of take everything, bring it all to the table. We have a really long, in-depth brand questionnaire. We go through that together over a video call. I ask all my follow-up questions. And from that is where we build the kind of visual strategy. So we're going to take all those answers about your audience, about what they love, what they're angry about, what they fear, like what are their pain points, and take that and turn that into visuals. My background is actually fine arts and art history. So I love to like pull in
Oh, nice.
like actual color theory and like art
Yeah.
historical references and things that aren't just regurgitations of what everyone on the internet is already doing, because I find that to be kind of boring. But
Right.
also, we want to create something for you that's going to last you. Our goal is always to get branding to last anywhere from 10 to 15 years. So something that you can really sink your teeth into. And then hopefully by the end of 15 years, your business looks completely different. And then you're much
Right.
bigger and then it's something else, right? So again, 3 really important takeaways from this little chunk that I said. I'm saying we're solving a problem for someone similar to you. How it works is we do a deep dive on who your clientele is, what they need, what they're angry at, what they love to really understand your client first before we do any visuals. And then I like to get into a little bit of my background. So I actually studied fine art and art history. So color theory is important to me. And I really want to make sure we're designing something that has legs from a visual standpoint, visual communication standpoint. And then I go right into ROI. Like, we want to make sure that this branding is going to last you 10 to 15 years. And the hope is that in 10 to 15 years from now, your business is so much bigger that you're at a place where the rebranding is going to be appropriate anyway, because you're serving a different audience in a different capacity, or you have a big team, or you have bigger impact. And therefore, we're setting the expectation from the get-go that this is an investment that has a lifespan, because branding is not supposed to be infinite. Even the biggest companies you've ever known go through rebrands. So making sure that that's part of the conversation really, really early, like this is the 2-minute mark of our conversation, is super, super important on a discovery call. So that's kind of the first week is defining the brand, and then into some of the visuals. So Pinterest board, we use a lot of AI in our process. Mention for AI in our process very early in the discovery call in case they have any hesitations or questions coming up about that. Setting the visuals, getting the sign off on that and the color palette and direction. Then we do deep dive on design. So you'll get like so usually 10 to 15 minute video presentation that explains like why we think this should be the logo, or why we think this should be the social graphics, or whatever. What you'll notice of what I just described to Kim in that was our process and what to expect. So you heard me go into detail about this is how we work. This is what we tackle the first week, the second week, third week, fourth week. And this is what you can expect from us, including how that information is presented to you as far as the rebrand goes. So we've got, just from the first 2.5, 3 minutes of the discovery call, we've got an overview of the project. We've got green flags. Is this client coming to us recommended from another person or another project that they really felt represented by or interested in? What are their pain points? What do we do? And how does what we do answer their pain points straight from the jump? And then getting into a little bit of my background as well as what we're promising on ROI. So what is the purpose of rebranding or working with us? Like, what are we always trying to get to? What's our vision for the companies that we work with? So all of this is coming out in the first 2.5 minutes of the discovery call. Then we're starting to get into how we do what we do. So as if you're a regular listener of the podcast, we start every episode with who you are, what you do, who you help, and how you help them. So we've already gone through the what we do, which is our bread and butter is branding, who we help, people similar to you, people with these pain points, people who have similar sized businesses in similar industries, and how we help them is through our process. So we have a 4-week brand design process, regardless of which package that you choose. And that includes defining the brand, defining the aesthetics of the brand, designing the brand, and then creating a cohesive strategy, essentially, and visualizing that for the client via that video presentation that you see on our portfolio page, on my social media, but really pitching the concept of what we've come up with instead of, for example, like giving a logo sheet of 18 different options. So this is really, as seen through this discovery call with Kim, this is the first chunk of a discovery call: overview, green flags, pain points, background, process. Those 5 things are the main hit within the first few minutes of conversation. Now let's move over to Shaquila from Collab. She is a social media management company. And for her business, I wanted to get even more specific and ask some follow-up questions about who she serves and how she serves them and why what she's got so far isn't working. So let's take a listen to that.
And then I know you said you DIY'd your Canva branding, which is definitely a great place to start. Where besides the consistency and like kind of the professionalism that it sounds like you're looking for, what else are you looking for on the branding front that you feel like you don't have right now?
I want my brand to have a bit more personality in the sense of like, I want some more like color. So green has always been in my brand. Like whenever my brand has changed over the years, it's always like, as you can tell, I absolutely love green.
Honestly, yeah.
But I also want more like bright colors. At the moment, it's quite like dull. And I want to bring some, because I think like working in a creative industry, I need to show that like I am creative, and I feel like adding color to that is the way forward. I definitely want more color in my brand. Like even introducing new colors, like oranges, pinks, whatever. I'm open to introducing new colors in.
So you'll notice I said, based on what you have right now, besides you just not loving the branding, what are the other things that you don't think are working? And she brought up, I'm in a creative field and I think I should be way more colorful. I'm looking to really punch it up. I really want it to hit that next level. This is basically giving me the cheat code for what I know I should focus on. So again, we've gone through the overview part. We've gone the green flags, pain points, background, our process. And now I'm saying, okay, based on what you've got, where are you feeling the most stuck? This is basically a follow-up on a pain point, right? Like you're looking for our expertise. Where do you feel that you want that extra level of polish? So she's telling me right from the beginning, I want to be colorful and I want to be loud. And that to me is cueing me into not only how I can deliver well for her, but what maybe are some other example projects that I might want to send her that show her that we have a good understanding of color and color usage.
Yeah, branding agencies is always interesting because you have to be a bit of a chameleon, right? Like you have to kind of shift to what your clients' like styles are so that they're shining really well. Obviously, I mean, I've done my agency. I've done a handful of other like agencies that we've helped with over the years, social media marketing and such. So it's definitely within our wheelhouse. I don't know how familiar you are with kind of the packages that we do have. They're on my website, but I can kind of describe them to you. But right now we offer kind of 2 rebranding packages. There's one that's like a smaller scope and there's one that's a larger scope. They're literally the identical first 4 weeks are exactly the same. So we start with a strategy session, which is like a 90-minute deep dive, brand questionnaire, screen share, basically brain dump of every possibility, every iteration of your business. And the deliverable at the end of that is we create for you like a brand boilerplate, which says All of the like necessary copy, honestly, it came about of like trying to train our clients on how to use ChatGPT, which are your brand adjectives, your values, your mission, and your vision. And then taglines. So those are some of the questions that, like, when you're building your custom GPT, it'll ask you to be able to write like you. So that's been really helpful in that first phase. From there, we do all of the like design discovery. So Pinterest boards, mood boards, color palettes. And then you're used to watching me on live. We pull together that long form brand presentation. So in that presentation, it'll be basically a synthesis of everything we've talked about, plus our team's best ideas for what we think we could do with your brand. And at the end of that, you get one round of edits. Most clients don't even use the round of edits. They're like, yeah, slam dunk, let's do it. So that's great. And if it's the smaller scope of work, that's kind of where the project ends. So you get all the logo files and you get like a 1-pager guide on like how to use your stuff, your color codes, your fonts, mood board, and your logos, right? 1-pager. If you do the larger scope, it's those really long, really involved brand guidelines that have all the details. So this is what your social media profile should look like. Here's what all of your signage should look like. If you do an event, this is what all the mock-ups should be. If you do a collaboration with another brand, this is what it could look like. And the brand guide is created so that anyone who picks it up could learn about your business, because all of the information about how it's visually represented would be in that document, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that's the difference. They are 2 different price points. So I'm not sure what budget you had in mind for rebranding, if you had one. But we can also just send you what our pricing is currently.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
So here you'll notice is where I talk about both packages and I talk about how they're at different price points. If someone hasn't specified in their contact form what their budget is, I think it's a nice question to say, what budget did you have in mind for this project? And I can recommend you a scope based on your budget. Or if you'd like, we can send you over our proposal of what we're currently quoting and we can take it from there and then you can decide what you're looking to invest. This is a really much easier route to talk about pricing. I think pricing can be tricky with clients. And I really believe that the sooner you have the conversation about money, the better, because you don't want someone to like fall in love with you and want to work with you so bad, but they only have $200. Now you've spent all this time talking about their project and you weren't able to talk about how you can't do it for $200. And alternatively, you want to make sure that you guys are aligned. So giving them a realistic expectation of what they can invest is important. We have pricing listed on our website as ranges. So starting at blank, up to blank, to give people a ballpark, but we end up quoting things pretty specific to the client. We also change our pricing based on how busy we are or based on how big the company that we're working with, based on if it's an industry that we want more experience in. We may not charge the same as we would for a company where we've done a bunch of, similar style businesses. So having the budget conversation and kind of opening it to the client to say, do you have a total budget in mind? Or do you want us to give you what we realistically would probably charge for this project? So that's something I did in this discovery call that I most often do on discovery calls. Are you leaning towards one over the other? Like, are you thinking you want to start small and scale up? Or do you want to just do everything from the get-go?
Yeah, I was going to ask if I did go for the smaller one, like is it available as an add-on like later on? Or yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So once you've worked with us once, it kind of unlocks our whole like kind of a la carte secret menu, whatever you need, right? If you want to do a merch drop, or if you have an event, or if you want to like revisit all of your client onboarding documents or something like that, or your analytics presentations, you're like, I'm getting there mostly in Canva, but I just wanted to have that extra little oomph to kind of get us over the finish line so that my team can replicate it. Because that's a big thing with the clients that we work with, is that they get all their branding and then they're just like a little bit stuck on how to implement it. So we can come on and like just price those out individually. It helps kind of close the gap between the mini and the larger one.
So in this instance, I'm basically describing or asking the client, really, like, which of the 2 packages were you interested in? So I know we haven't talked budget. You didn't really have a number in mind per se. We're going to get you a proposal for both options. But is there one that you're leaning towards? Can I explain to you or answer for you any questions that you might have about the difference between the 2 things? And then she did. She said, is there an a la carte approach? Like if I signed on for the smaller brand design, package, could I come back to you with specific things that I need? And this is probably 80% of the clients that we work with, is they start with something smaller and then they're working up to the larger package. If they're not already like a seasoned business owner, if they're not already have like a budget set aside and they have the idea, is sometimes for the smaller, especially solo entrepreneurs, we're finding that having an option for them that allows them to grow with us is really useful. So in this instance, I'm giving her an example of the type of things that we could execute to kind of fill the gap between the mini brand design project and the full service brand design project. But I'm also explaining how those are add-ons and those are also charged extra. So what will happen in the proposal is they'll see both the mini brand design package and the full brand design package listed side by side at the two different price points. And then we'll put in a section that says suggested add-ons. And those suggested add-ons are kind of in an a la carte style, like your business card would cost about this. Your thank you note, a suite of 6 social media templates would cost about this. And that'll kind of show them ballpark where they can expect to spend if they want to, again, inch closer towards that full package. So that was Collab. Go find that on our website. That's one of my favorite projects. It's so colorful and bright and fun. And it's I think everything that Shaquila was excited about. And now it's really given her space to dive all in on that branding.
You all know how much I love a brag-worthy brand, and when it comes to creating stickers and labels that elevate your branding, Sticker Giant is the brand that you can trust. Whether you're looking to create something for fun for your next launch, elevate your brand, or add a little extra flair to your packaging, Sticker Giant's custom stickers and labels help your brand get noticed in all the right ways. They've got a dedicated team handling every detail, so you can count on Sticker Giant to bring your designs to life just the way that you imagined. And Sticker Giant stickers and labels are proudly made in the US of A. If you're ready to give your brand that extra boost, go to stickergiant.com and use promo code KMA25 for 25% off your first order. Sticker Giant, your partner in the sticker and label business.
Next, I want to take us over to a discovery call with another one of my favorite projects. I mean, it's like picking a favorite child, right? Which is Luija from Piano Chi, which is the Airbnb hosting and property management business that I got connected to because I hosted my 30th birthday in Italy. And so Luigi's company was overseeing the property that we stayed in. So we connected because I made a bunch of social media content, had reached out, and then she reached back out to me and said, actually, I'm looking for some help with branding. So in her discovery call, we talked about how her main concern was website. I let her know straight from the jump, good news, bad news. Good news, I'd love to help you with branding. Bad news, I don't actually do websites, but I can send you to somebody who can help execute it based on the branding. So in this part of the discovery call, you'll hear how I ask certain follow-up questions and start to paint the picture of what it would look like to work together and how the branding sets the foundation for all those other marketing initiatives, social media, website, print, etc. So let's listen to that one.
And also to tell you, Michelle, sorry to interrupt you, my logo has been done by a friend of mine years ago. We can also reconsider that. I'm not, maybe without going too far from it, let's say, but we can make it a bit more alive. That's for sure.
Okay, that was going to be my next question, because I think just being at the house in Ischia, like I loved it. First of all, I still have my birthday invitations right here.
Yeah, you made an amazing job.
Oh my gosh, it was the best time. But I think creating a brand for you that really stands up to the quality of the properties would be really important. So taking inspiration from what you have, but then creating that really elevated, well thought out, well taken care of, like hospitality look is going to make the website look really, really good. Because you've got the photography, of course, but we want to make sure that the photography is matching the experience of staying in the place and that the branding is capturing all of that, if that makes sense.
Yes, fully agree.
Yeah? Okay, cool. And you said you had 40 properties in your portfolio?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Yes.
10.
No. It's growing quite fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And how many people are on your team? Is it just you running all of this?
No, we are 3.
You're 3 people.
Three, let's say, in the back office. Then in every spot, there is like the lady that welcomed you, the cleaning lady, the maintenance guy. This we have it in every spot. But let's say, for the administration and management, we are 3.
Because you could imagine, right, creating a brand where the people who are welcoming you and helping to do the maintenance on the house have the logos, on the t-shirts
Yes.
or have that experience, or when you're a guest and you're arriving at the property, you're getting that beautiful, folder that shows you how to use the
True.
Wi-Fi, the stove, and, all of
Yes,
that.
you're right. Yeah.
So here you can see me describe all the instances in which the new branding could impact her business. So making sure that the experience is reflected in the branding, but that the branding is also reflected in the experience. What are the uniforms that your staff wears? What are the onboarding materials? What's the print documents? What do the emails look like? How can we make sure that what we're going to do together then gets implemented in a way that your audience can interact with it? And I'm starting to paint the picture of what her business could look like after investing in branding with us. This is also what I come back to when I'm building mock-ups. So if you go back and watch the presentation for Piano Chi, which is linked on my website, mkwcreative.co, you can see that in the branding presentation, I made a point to illustrate this is what you would come across from a print perspective if you were a guest of your properties. And this is what your construction crew, how they would be outfitted in hats and a truck and t-shirts to be in the branding so that people can start to connect the experience with the brand and also the service with the brand. And I think that was a really effective way to explain to her the impact of what it is that we'd be doing together. Let's skip a little bit forward and get into this.
But I think even in thinking about your project, I'd love to see almost like color palettes or styles that match the specific place, right? Because
Mhm.
Amalfi Coast is so different than Provence, is so different than Umbria, right? They have all these regional styles. And I think we'd really want to play that up and make that part of the branding. So maybe it's pattern or color palette, or there's, different fonts for different places, but they all fit in one system. I think we could have a lot of fun with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I'm again describing how we can take the variety of her business and reflect that in the branding by having the different color palettes, patterns, different styles for different types of properties that she manages, really starting to help her envision what the expansion of that business could look like. We're going to skip ahead one more time.
And then our team helps with anything from social media to packaging to print design, merchandise, any of that stuff. So really, once you've done branding with us, we can come on as almost like a creative partner, like outsourced
Mhm.
creative to really knock out anything that you're looking for. We're doing that with a real estate company right now, and it's really satisfying to see everything come together.
So in this instance, I am explaining to her how we work with other hospitality brands, how satisfying it is to see all those bits and pieces come together. But once we're done with branding, that we can help in a creative partnership capacity. We're noticing that a lot of clients are opting into this as a service, is that they get all this help with the branding. They're so excited about the branding. They've got those first few posts up, and now they're like, well, shoot, how do I do this in an ongoing capacity? Our team loves working with retainer clients because we get to know them really well and we get to help them actually get a lot of their marketing initiatives come to fruition. So some of those retainer clients would be like Gallivant Society, who hired us to do branding, and now we're helping her with all of her trip launch materials. Then we've got Dental Hygiene Nation, who hired us for branding, and then we stayed on to do the subscription box. We've got Luxury Fire Island Homes, Falkreeve and Gallagher, real estate groups who came on for rebranding and then have had us stick on for social media management, print design, event design, photo and video shoot plans, marketing strategy, holistically, agent training, all of that stuff. So it's really also just positioning our first service as really the first service, but definitely not the last service that I think works really well on a discovery call. At the end, when we're going towards our closer, again, we've talked about overview. We've talked about green flags, pain points, what we do, how we help you, what the return on your investment for branding might be. We've asked follow-up questions. We've asked what package you're interested in. What's the budget that you have in mind? We're definitely asking a client any other questions related to the business and starting to paint the picture for what the world could look like after working with us. What do those different touch points have to do with the actual service that you offer, and how can we make sure that that is getting included in the mock-ups, right? So I want to make sure that when I'm showing the branding, I'm reflecting those instances, those scenarios in which the brand actually works. Then at the very, very end of the discovery call, I like to tell them what's coming next. What can you expect from us? When will you hear from us? When can we get started? Yada, yada, yada. What are the immediate next steps? And I have that for you coming out of our discovery call with Morgan Eckroth. This would have been from January 2024. Let's get into that one. Basically, what happens now is this call recording goes to Cody. She is my right-hand gal. She's the business manager. I'm the visionary. She's the integrator. She gets stuff done because schedules and timelines and money and all that, way over my head. So she will let you know when the next available project start date is and what those steps look like. I think we can get you on for a strategy session in the next month and a half.
That sounds great.
And then really kind of based on my gut feeling, the calendar is kind of opening up for branding April, mid-April, which means final assets by summer.
Cool. That sounds great. Yeah, that's a perfect timeline. I'm in the dead of my competition season right now. And so everything for me, I can do things and get things done, but I'm not at full capacity to plug into stuff until April.
Perfect. And then what I want you to do between now and April is really, really take note of the fact of the brands that you think do something special for you. Pay attention to the ones, not just you think it looks good, not just you think it's a cool company, but pay attention to the ones that do something to your brain. They're like, oh, there's something here. And I don't even know that I know what it is, but it's doing something to my brain.
Yep.
You know? So that because I know you do this because these are your storytelling interactions of the silent film, interaction customer to client, because you notice those little things and you're like, that I'm going to bank that because I'm going to come back to that and make that a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Will do.
Cool.
I've already got Pinterest boards going. I'm ready to go.
I had a feeling you would. You're ready to go. So in this scenario, what I've done is explain that what happens after this discovery call. So I always ask at the beginning of the call, which I didn't get recorded for because I'm asking them for permission to record. But before I even record the call, I say, before we get started, is it okay that I record this call so I can share it with my team afterwards? And they all say, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Great. So that's obviously not recorded in the version of the call that I'm playing for you guys because I hadn't asked them for that yet. It is important, I think, when you're talking to someone for the first time to ask permission. So I said, hey, I'm going to record this call, share it with my team. And, maybe if we end up working together, this will end up on social media later. So I kind of prep it with that first. And the reason I also record is because I sent these to Cody. So Cody is my online business manager. You guys have heard me talk about Cody 500 million times. She does contracts, proposals, and invoices. So what she'll do from the discovery call plus my notes is pull together that Dubsado proposal that shows the packages, that shows the deliverables, that shows the timelines, and shows the payment plan. So all that information gets sent via email. So it's really important for me to close the discovery call with setting the expectation. Hey, this is what you're going to get next. This is who it's coming from. This is when you can expect it. This is what your timeline options are. And also, if you noticed, I asked Morgan, here's your homework in the meantime. Between now and the next time we talk, I want you to collect inspiration. I want you to collect things that light your brain up, that get you excited, that do something for you, that you're like, I don't even know why I like it, but I think I like this, and I like this for the direction that I'm going in, because I have a really good sense of taking all those things into consideration and finding the common thread. I love doing that kind of forensic research of seeing everything that someone's interested in and trying to figure out, you like this because the texture, because the color, because the composition, because the subject matter, because the person that made it, and trying to figure out what those things are and then bringing that into the brand design process. At the very end of my conversation with Morgan, I basically ask, do you have any more questions for me? Is there anything else that I can answer for you? More information, etc. And I think in this instance, she's like, nah, we're good. And then ended up signing the contract a week later. Sometimes when we get to the end of a discovery call, I'll remind them, I'd really like to send you some case studies. So I'd like to send you some projects to specifically look at that I think answer a problem similar to yours. And that's another great way to kind of recirculate the beginning of the conversation of, hey, I've solved this pain point before. Oh, you're opening a retail shop? Let me send you LilyPar. Oh, you've got a background in dental? Let me send you Dental Hygiene Nation, Bloom RDH, Teacher Tina, and dental hygiene seminars. Oh, you're starting a product-based brand? Let me send you Hotel Abbey Candle and the in-depth version of that. And that's really helpful. And that's also why I have this podcast, is because I love to send the episode where I interviewed that client. I love to send the episode that's that hour-long conversation where you can really get to know and understand my thought process, but also the client and the type of business that they have. It's such a great closed loop on what it is that our team does and the impact that we have on these businesses from a branding perspective, but also brand positioning, marketing, brand awareness, and also like entrepreneur confidence and how you feel you can show up in the world when you like the way that you're being represented versus a DIY approach or, working with assets like Luija says, my logo was designed by my friend 10 years ago, but I'm open to changing it. I'd like to honor it, but I'm open to changing it. So it's taking all that into consideration and really kind of ending the discovery call with a clear action plan. Here's who's going to answer you. Here's how the proposal is going to get to you. Here's what you'll see in the proposal. Here are the work studies or like kind of case studies I want you to take a closer look at to really understand how our business does what we do. And then, do you have any more questions for me? What can I answer? What can I do for you while we're on this call? This should happen within 15 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot, but in these 4 instances, these 4 chunks that I've shown you today, what we've covered, and really if you want to just take the notes of just this part, what you're trying to get out of the discovery call is, are they the right fit for me and am I the right fit for them? So this is kind of like an initial, are we a good fit for each other conversation? And I've definitely gone on a discovery call and said, you know what, based on everything you've told me, I don't think we're going to be the best fit for what you're looking for. It seems like you might be looking for a person that does XYZ. Or you may want to work with someone who has more experience in your field. You might be more aligned with somebody who agrees with you politically or religiously to take on this project, because those are 2 lines that I'm not totally willing to cross. So there are sometimes enough red flags in a discovery call that would prohibit us from moving forward. But to kind of recap the whole discovery call ethos or playbook from the top, again, we've got the contact form. I'm on the client. The first thing I'm saying to them on this discovery call on Google Meet, which I definitely recommend Google Meet more than phone call. The first thing I'm saying on the Google Meet, hey, are you okay if we could record this so I can share it with my team? That's the first thing you got to do. Then I'm hitting the record button. Once we're recording, I'll say, I've got your contact form open, but why don't you go ahead and tell me about what you're looking for and where you think we can help? In that answer, I'm looking, are they succinct? Are they organized? Do they know their opportunities? Do I see opportunities for us to help? And are they talking about their pain points? What's bothering them? Where are they stuck? How can they try to get to the other side of that? Where are they feeling lost? Then I'll explain what we do, how we've helped people similar to them, and explain how my background plays into that. So the art history, I've been doing this for 11 years. I started my business when I was in college. I have a team that works fully remote, but we work on brands from yada yada industry, getting a little bit of that background, and the ROI straight from the jump. Our goal, what is the goal here? The goal is to get you branding that's going to last you minimally 10 to 15 years. That's what we're looking for. And really positioning it as an investment and not an expense. I think that's an important distinction. Then I like to get into process. What are you looking for that you don't already have? How does our process answer that? How do we do things step by step? What are our packages? What's the difference between the 2 packages? What are the options if you want the smaller package but are working towards the bigger package? And which are you interested in? Is there one that you feel already like you want to go towards? Or is there something that you are trying to get convinced? Either way, I love to bring up budget. So what's the budget that you have in mind? Would you like us to send you our pricing, or do you want to let us know what your top line budget is so that we can recommend a scope to fit your budget? So I think that's a nice, really neutral way to broach that conversation. And then we're getting into asking those follow-up questions and really starting to paint the picture for what it could look like to do branding with us after it's over, right? Like, where are those places of max impact? Where are those instances in which someone would see and interact with the logos, the fonts, the colors, the styles, from your website to print to digital to social, etc. Once we've covered all that information, I'm coming out to the end with the close with, okay, this sounds really aligned. I'd be super excited to take this on. This is what's going to happen next. I'm going to forward this call to Cody. She's my business manager. She's my right-hand gal. She is the behind-the-scenes Virgo super organized person that's going to help get us a plan. So she's going to pull together the proposal, which will contain the 2 packages that we discussed, plus any add-ons. She will get you the timeline of when we could start and when you would get deliverables by. And she can also let you know what your payment plan options would be. So if you want to put down partial deposit, 100% deposit, 50-50, thirds, progress payments, whatever that looks like. So that's Cody's domain. I don't even touch that stuff. So that gets handed off to Cody. And then I like to give them homework. So I say, between now and our next call, here's what I want you to work on. I want you to work on, if you're thinking about moving forward and you're thinking about getting serious about doing branding with us, I want you to start collecting inspiration. I want you to collect the things that light you up, that get you excited, that feel like the direction that you want to go in, so that you can have that ready for us by the time we start a project. I hope this was helpful. It was so fun to kind of go down memory lane and pull up old discovery calls to be able to share. And I think this episode, it's kind of fun to actually show you guys the real calls. Please, in the comments, let me know if this is the type of episode that you like and if this is useful to you, because I have some ideas for some other ones I might want to do in a similar style. As always, if you love the show, please share it, send it to a friend, save it, leave a comment, follow us on YouTube, follow us anywhere you find podcasts, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.